talked to dealer Gary Adkins, who had a cool coin, actually a medal from Wells Fargo minted in 1902. It was pretty cool.
I think this is a really interesting medal. It was made to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Wells Fargo company. If you look back in the history of Wells Fargo, they were the first stagecoach line and delivered mail and mint products and everything back in those days throughout the West. And so this medal kind of commemorates that event, and it has a lot going on with it, a lot of interesting aspects to the medal, and it shows a stagecoach on there, which everybody is kind of familiar with, that Wells Fargo stagecoach. So that's kind of an interesting part about it. And this one came in a very nice original presentation case, and I think most of these were probably minted to present to employees and dignitaries that visited Wells Fargo.
Why the fascination with Wells Fargo?
I would say that because we relate that to the Old West, and there's always a fascination with the Old West. So the Wells Fargo name is synonymous with Old West, I believe, and so we even have Wells Fargo today. And even as recently as 10, 15 years ago, they came out with a hoard of $20 gold pieces were from the Wells Fargo hoard. So there's a lot of mystery and intrigue with the Wells Fargo name.
What kind of value?
This is worth about $2,500 in the condition it's in.
And we stopped by the Sachs Bowers table to talk to John Kraljevich about some of the cool coins from the Pogue sale.
It's the finest known 1794 half dollar. It is absolutely the finest without any question. It's the best of its kind. It's got a pedigree back to F.C.C. Boyd. Frederick C.C. Boyd of New Jersey formed what was titled in the late 1940s the world's greatest collection when it was sold. This was sold at that time, and I think the Pogue Collection may take that title from Mr. Boyd. This coin went on to be in Jimmy Hayes' typeset. Congressman Hayes formed a typeset of all first-year coins, and he tried to get the finest he could of every first year of issue coin. This was his half dollar. I've talked with Jimmy about the coin, and he says there is no question this is absolutely the finest surviving example of the first half dollar struck anywhere. Half dollar was an American invention. It was the same thing as a Spanish colonial 4 real, and this was the very first issue. So it's the very finest of the very first.
What makes the coin stand out so much so that you can make the claim that it's the finest?
Well, first of all, it's truly uncirculated. There are others that have crossed the mint state grading plateau. They are lower mint state grades. They're coins that have traditionally been called perhaps about uncirculated in an earlier era. This coin's always been called uncirculated. It's always been agreed by everyone that it's uncirculated. Today it's in a PCGS MS64 holder, fully lustrous, original color and surface, absolutely full detail, and really superb eye appeal. So there's no other competitor for the title.
And what is the approximate value?
The sale estimate is $500,000 to $750,000, but we wouldn't be surprised to exceed it that either. It's an 1804 dime. This is the 14 Star Reverse. There are two principal varieties, 13 Star Reverse and 14 Star Reverse. This is the latter. It's known as John Rinkor II. And this is the finest known example from these dies. This was the Eliasberg specimen. Its pedigree traces back to the 1907 David S. Wilson sale conducted by S. Hudson Chapman, one of the Chapman brothers after he went solo. And what's neat about this particular coin is it wasn't included in the Eliasberg sales. This coin was misplaced at the time of the sales. It was filed away with a bunch of fairly worthless foreign coins. When I was working for a predecessor firm, American Numismatic Rarities, I used to go see Mr. Eliasberg, Richard Eliasberg, on a fairly regular basis, and he'd bring out small groups of coins he would find hidden away here and there. What's this worth? What's that worth? He brought this coin out one day and said, I think this is slightly better. I looked at it and said, I think it's the finest known 1804 dime. And as it turns out, it is indeed the finest known 1804 14 stars dime. It went into the Ed Price collection, which was a fabulous collection of early dimes by die variety. And after the Price collection sale, Brent Pogue bought the coin, and now it resides in the D. Brent Pogue collection.
So for collectors who might not be aware,
yes,
why was there a 14 star dime?
It's an excellent question. It's probably mostly because they could fit 14 stars into that space. For a while in the 1790s, they seem to have been trying to do 1 star for each state of the Union. But that was mostly abandoned by 1796 with some bleed over into 1797. By 1804, it was just an odd variety.
And what is the approximate value of this?
This is estimated at $375,000 to $450,000.
We had a chance to talk to dealer Don Rinkor, who had a really cool coin, a proof trade dollar, 1875 in deep cameo.
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. I have an 1875 trade dollar in 64 proof deep cam, which is a very rare coin, even though 75 is not a rare date, but in deep cam they're quite scarce.
Why are trade dollars so collectible?
Well, it's a very short set, so it's a little easier to make a collection. And additionally, they also are a very attractive coin, kind of a more classic design. And it's just an interesting history with the trade dollars, and a lot of them ending up in Asia in the late 1800s.
How tough are proof issues?
The proof issues, the mintages were fairly similar every year, but certain dates have a lot fewer surviving pieces. And basically PCGS and NGC both grade the trade dollars as well as seated dollars in just proof. They also grade them as cameo proofs, and then deep cameo for PCGS or ultra cam for NGC. And the population of the deep cams is minuscule compared to the cameos and the non-cams. So they bring a much higher premium.
What causes a cameo?
So when they first produce the coins, the dies are polished. The surfaces for the raised portion of the coin has a frosted surface. So what happens when they strike the coin, you get this really nice contrast. As the die continues to get worn, that contrast diminishes somewhat, in which case then you have more of a silvery monochrome look of a proof. But the cameos are the ones that people mostly like.
What kind of value?
This coin right here is about an $8,000 coin. In 4 cam, it's probably around a $4,500 coin, and just as a proof 64, it's probably $3,500. So it's a big difference in value.
If you like this video, we're sure you'll love these 3 videos. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. CoinWeek is the #1 source online for all things numismatic. Visit www.coinweek.com to take your hobby to the next level.